How are we doing, George?
Hey, George.
Yeah, it's nice to come back on smiling again. I wasn't expecting it,
You weren't
but
expecting it. Well, this is Man City we're talking about. This is
I
pretty much our
know,
home stadium. Without
I
Kulusevski,
know
without the deck he had this time, without Madison. Just talk to me about that performance today. What pleased you the most about it?
that midfield again. The same as PSG. That midfield was just they were a rock. Like, yeah, we've got to give credit to the centre backs and defensive line, but the midfield play a massive part of why we haven't conceded this season yet.
Yeah,
And
100%.
big up to all of them, especially Pat Matsar. As
Yeah.
I said last week when I came on, I said that he was going to be my player of the season. I got that wrong. I actually put Porro as a player of the season. He was most improved. But I wish I put him
Mm,
now because I think he's
mm.
going to be our best player of the season,
We'll let you
especially if we
change
don't
it,
get another
George.
10.
We'll let you change it. We'll let
We'll
you
allow
change
it.
it. What's
Yeah,
changed
there's evidence now. I
in
can't change.
terms of the aspect of the midfield that you're talking about? Because it's pretty much the same personnel apart from João Palhinha. But last season it just seemed like you could just walk through our midfield. So what is the
Yeah.
aspects that have changed?
As much as I love Dange, it's got to be down to Frank. It's got to be. Like, just, it's not even like a difference of togetherness just looking at them. There's something more to it. It's how we're holding on to the ball. We're not just like pushing it forwards like willy-nilly. Hate
Yeah.
that phrase, but we're not pushing it forwards like no matter how dangerous it is. We're actually thinking about the football now. That's how it seems. It seems like the players are stopping and thinking, oh, is it worth going forwards? And I saw in I think it must have been pre-season. There was a piece where Frank was talking to the players, saying, "Take that risk, go forwards, be brave." But having seen that, I thought, okay, it's going to be a bit similar to Ange, but it's almost like it's more mature football,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
complete
It's
sense.
the perfect
100%.
word, maturity, for sure. I had a quick question, George, as well, because one player perhaps we haven't spoken too much about is Richarlison, because I think he gets a lot of critique, even from myself over the last few years, and obviously that comes from amount of injuries, maybe not being on the ball too much, but that can also be a post aspect of some specific injuries that he's had. What do you think about his contributions? I think certainly, obviously, it's only 2 games in, so it's really difficult. But I personally think like he had a fantastic game today. What do you think about his development, and how important do you think he's going to be throughout this season? If he can stay fit and have that kind of level of performance on and off the ball, scoring, not scoring, what do you think about him today and the overall aspect of the season ahead?
I think for him, a lot of it is confidence. He's a massive confidence player, and when he gets injured, you see the knock on that takes because he's obviously he comes out the team and he has to work for his position. And I think a little bit of it might be entitlement, but that comes from being confident in yourself. And when that was completely contradictory of me, but when come back from injury, he's confident in himself. But when he's not getting picked to be in the starting lineup, even though he has that confidence in himself, it's like he starts doubting himself and he
Yeah,
starts just getting frustrated, and then that makes him a worse player. Well,
yeah.
not a worse player, but you get what I mean. But I've been so impressed with him every game that he's played this season. His hold up play, his battling for the ball, his work rate is just second to none. But you can say that for every single player on that team. As you were
You,
saying,
you
Jed Spence, what a
you made a
player.
really good point about his confidence aspect, George, because I think, again, early in the season, I'll try and remind myself of that, but I think it's going to be quite a difficult scenario when Solanke's getting to, say, 100% fitness of him trying to get back in the team if Richarlison's playing this well. So, again, back to your point about confidence, I think that's going to be quite interesting. Is Solanke deemed number 1 choice when he is fully fit and Frank makes that decision? Or is Frank the type of manager, do you think, that could say, well, actually, it's done on merit, and at this moment in time, based on the scenario, Richarlison is here because Solanke was injured, and Richarlison has taken that opportunity. But I also think that's across the board with the whole team now. I think there's no excuses for poor performance or reduction in energy or anything like that. I think we've got a good balance, right?
100%. I think I was expecting Solanke to start today. I'm glad he didn't. I'm like, even in hindsight, without hindsight, I'm glad he didn't because Richie has just stepped up his levels. and how hard he fights for the badge. The fact that he went to the manager and said, "I want to stay," I think that's probably a big part of it. Obviously, Solanke's had his injury, and I think that's also played into it, as you said. But for me, I don't see why you take him out for Solanke. He's earned his place, and until he does something where he doesn't, or Solanke gets subbed on and rips it up, I don't think you can change him. Solanke hasn't scored this season. Richie's got 2 goals, and he hasn't done anything wrong for me.
Yeah. Talk to me about Mohamed Kudus, because, you know, when he came to Spurs, the West Ham fans were telling us, oh, he's not such a great player. He doesn't put in the shift. He doesn't work hard for the team. He doesn't have, you know, the end product. I mean, the end product we haven't seen as of yet in a Spurs shirt. But talk to me what he brings to this football team.
It's pure copium from the West Ham fans, because what a player. What a player. Like, I was more impressed with him helping out Pedro Porro today than anything else. The fact that he was getting back, and when Doku came on, they could see that Porro needed help, and every single time, it wasn't like jogging back, he was coming back like a train. He was sprinting back, and really impressed me. And I think for me, if Pap wasn't man of the match for me, I would have given it to Kudus because of that defensive helping out, tracking back, and just winning the ball back and maintaining the possession for us.
But it's not even just the way he's helping Pedro Porro. Like, anytime there was a bit of a loose touch from a Man City player in the defence of the midfield, Kudus was just bang on it, and just like you talk about a train, it was like a train just running at one of these Man City defenders, and it looked like they had the life frightened out of them. And what a
100%.
player we have in our hands here.
Yeah, I mean, there was a point in the second half, just before I started like noticing how much he was coming back to help Pedro Porro out. He popped up on the left-hand side, and I was like, when did he get there? Like, he was all over the pitch. Like, I can't fault a single player. Their work rate is just phenomenal. It has been all season, and long may it continue.
What can we achieve this season, George? What can we achieve this season?
No, I know I got carried away and took the piss a bit by saying we would win the league last week, but I don't see why we can't finish top 4 at least. I think we've got a trophy in us again this season. I think you can see it in the players. The hunger's there. They've proved that they can do it now. They've proved they can do it for us. And nothing has gone. So obviously the window hasn't gone the best, but across the summer, I don't think anything has happened that's been bad for the club. It's just been no progression in certain aspects. Certain aspects have pushed forwards, i.e. the manager coming in. But again, I don't think there's been any backward steps with like players that we really need to be playing leaving the club, for example. Even if this goes, we've brought Paulinho in, and Paulinho, I mean, I see him get referred to as the second coming of Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. And that's a slur on Paulinho, because he is
100%.
far better
100%.
suited for our team, especially with Frank. Like, he's Mr. Frank Ball.
He really is. And I said before on the match reaction, I think we've been crying out for a player like this, and since Victor Wanyama in that big season that he had last season at White Hart Lane. But look, I think it's time for us to enjoy our weekend. It's always great at 12:30 kickoff, and we can have a big result. We can sit back, look at the rest of the games with our feet up. Currently, top of the league. So I'll let you go and enjoy that, George. Have a good weekend, my friend.
Thank you, as always.
Thanks, George.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Nice.
Big up, George.